Hi, guys. Welcome to the Human Biography podcast. On today's episode, I've got my dear friend. We've talking, calculating how many years we've known each other. 20 years. Jason Sarai from Style by Sarai. We're in his atelier right now. I've seen this place transform in so many ways since you first got it, Jay. Tell me about what this place means to you. Yeah, we'll start there.
Well, it's first off, thanks for having me on your podcast. And as you mentioned, 20 years. And in the last 10 years of being in the Bespoke space, this is now year 10 going into this building at the Dominion.
Yeah.
And our first showroom was less than 150 square feet.
I remember that.
And that was in 2015, but it was big at that time to have our own showroom space. And every 2 years, we just continued to grow. And I think a large part of that was just being encouraged, supported, and motivated by clients to, pursue our ability, tap into our potential, and have that growth mindset of the environment you're in and surround yourself plays a massive part of that.
Absolutely.
So if we stayed within those showrooms from 2015 until 2021 before we moved into this, I don't think I would personally grow both personally and professionally, nor would the company if we stayed in those spaces.
Yes. When you expand your brain, expand your mind, expand your horizons, expand your environment, you grow mentally, physically, and spiritually. And then sometimes in your business as well.
Definitely. And it's a process of like this renovation, you're developing a story. And you have something to share about like where you started and where you're going. But then it also like, it takes away, the limits that a lot of people put on themselves. And when you're surrounded by clients that are, you're seeing their stories and what they're doing, you're like naturally motivated to do it yourself.
Yeah.
And then when they see that you do that, they know that you're making that investment, not only for the business, but for them to experience. So this growth it's something that we're not stopping, and we're continuing to take over more space on this floor, which is exciting.
Well, I mean, it also goes to show you that there's a demand for looking and feeling good, right? This whole idea every day, getting dressed for success, getting dressed and ready for the day, takes on a whole new meaning when you walk in here. Like I've had the experience before. I remember getting my coat made, and I was sitting to myself, I was so excited to get that coat, to put it on. And whenever I wear it, I feel like $1 billion. Like I feel amazing. And tell me about the experience what somebody does experience when they come in here. And let's give them a little bit of that idea. Like what do you put into that whole feeling and that whole story? Yeah.
Well, it's like for us, it's such a privilege to have that opportunity to allow people to slow down and immerse themselves in this experience.
Yeah.
So we feel like everyone has that artistic, creative side, but if we were to go to their office or to their home, it's not necessarily the easiest thing to do because they're connected to their work or environment.
Absolutely,
and there's a lot of variables happening. But when they come here, it's a chance to connect, talk, catch up on various aspects of their life. So even if it's an existing client or a new, both conversations are starting fresh.
Yes.
And when we go through that experience of connecting, it's one of the pillars of our core living values is about connection and meaningful connection. It's about scraping the superficial to get to the core.
Yeah.
So
Beautiful.
We do everything but talk about design for the first bit, and then naturally it evolves to do that. And I think that's a bit of anything. You look at sport, you need a warm-up to get into the game.
Absolutely.
Similar to this, it's like whether it's having tea, coffee, a drink, catching up, then it's like a nice way to step into the business aspect.
It's when we visit with people and we talk to people, and we'll talk more about what Jason and I are working on, but we have this idea of who is a person? What is your story? What story would you tell when you're presented with an opportunity to tell it, right? And I remember so Jason and I have been talking about this idea of style and legacy, right? So we are legacy storytellers. We document people's lives. We create long-form interviews, short-form interviews for businesses, organizations. But there's always this lasting impression that leaves people. And so I always thought to myself, what are people wearing when they come to see me, when they sit in front of my cameras? I always thought about that idea. And so people do want to look good. And so I thought to myself, well, what if we combined our superpowers and we said there, what if somebody was ready to get dressed by Jason and then come get interviewed by me about their life, their legacy? And so that is something that we're working on. That is something we want to present. It's exciting because I think, and I'll be really honest, some of the things that we do talk about with people are very serious. We've done end of life interviews with people. We do legacy interviews about all the things that people want to be remembered by. We've followed people throughout their life. We've been there every year, talking to them, interviewing them. And sometimes it gets to the point where they have come to the end of their life and they still want to present all the memories and all the pieces. And a part of that is their favorite suit. I remember doing a final interview with somebody. He was sick. He was at the end of his life, and his family told me that this is something that was very important to him, that he got to say some words about his memories and things that he wanted to leave for his loved ones. And he came in the suit that he wore to his daughter's wedding. And I remember because I was at his daughter's wedding. And he was so proud and so excited to get ready for that interview that I could only imagine if Jason and I worked with our own clients and talked about them getting dressed for that beautiful interview, whatever it might be, whether it's a memory in your life, an anniversary, or even something that's really important to you that's happened in your business. Sitting down in front of our cameras and getting ready by Jason, I think that is the best accompaniment we could offer. So style and legacy was what we're presenting to people. What are your thoughts on this idea? Yeah.
No, when you presented the opportunity, and I'm a big fan of your work.
Thank you.
Regardless of friendship, watching you build out the platform that you have and have been delivering this product to showcase people's stories and capture it. It's been a wonderful thing to see, and there's so many stories to be told.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And we also believe we're creating legacy pieces in the garments.
Absolutely.
So when you're going custom, the likelihood of donating it or throwing it away is very slim because you're connected to that garment.
That's right.
And then when you make that investment and the fact that it is built in a way that's durable and long-lasting, you're likely going to either pass it down to the next generation.
Absolutely.
But we have some clients that if they have kids or don't have kids, or if their kids are really young, they share it with their team once it passes to a certain thing. So it stays within the company.
Yes.
So the whole concept of legacy, it's not only for when you leave, but also there's a living legacy.
That's how, it's exactly how you're living when you put it on.
And that's where I was loving the style and legacy component was that what we're doing, we're very fortunate to work with people that have done amazing things and continue.
Absolutely.
So to know that when we make garments that make them feel strong and confident, it's just allowing them to only be just better versions of themselves because it's one less thing to think about. So I thought it was just a wonderful opportunity for us to work together, not only through garments and past things we've done together, but to work with so many people in the world.
I think the opportunity is this. When you put on a suit, a jacket, and you feel good when you're working with Jason, what is it that you emulate? What story would you tell? What story are you telling by what you're wearing, the colors, the feel, everything that you planned? What is it that you want to tell everybody about that? And I want to give everyone that opportunity to tell that story. We travel all around the world to create incredible documentaries, incredible storytelling for organizations, CEOs, great leaders. And what I forget about is that there's also these people that are living in our community, living in different pockets of Canada, across the USA, that we get to meet. And I forget to ask them, what are you going to wear to the interview? I forget to ask.
Yes.
They ask us what shouldn't we wear. So we say, don't wear stripes or checkers or all this kind of stuff. But in the end, we learned that, people are bringing their best foot forward. And Jason and I combining this opportunity to say, hey, listen, not only do we want you to get a beautiful suit, a garment made, but we want you to be interviewed in that suit, that garment. So it could be how we're planning this out is this could be something about your life. This could be something about your business. This could be something about your legacy. Or it could just be a great event that's happening in your life that you want to be interviewed by us, the Human Biography team, by something you're living in and you're breathing in that Jason has made for you. And that's what I'm excited about.
I'm excited, but I just realized I'm wearing stripes.
You're and listen, and it's so interesting because what we've learned is that you can wear more than stripes and checkers. Checkers are
note to self.
Yeah, note to self.
But what I love is it's like, what do people gravitate to?
Yes.
What speaks to their personality, and what is the story and message that they're trying to convey? And that's the beauty of it is when we work with people for whatever occasion, it's what do they like? What do they gravitate towards, and what do they see themselves wearing?
Yeah.
Because that's what's going to allow them to put themselves in that position to do, whether it's for a conversation or to attend an event. It's more that style component. It's less fashion.
Yeah.
And style is like timeless and classic, but each person is uniquely different.
Absolutely.
And that's the beauty of this is like it's made with intent and purpose. And when you're able to tell these stories, it's people tend to not know much beyond just the impact that they have in work and the small circles that they know.
Yeah.
It's amazing to be able to capture, the essence of someone and what you're able to do. And if we're able to, participate in that, because this is a blessing that we have is we get to learn about people that are doing amazing things for the community, for the city. They're employing, they're doing wonderful things, and they're continuing to grow. But I'm continuing to learn about clients. And I can only imagine how many people their message can impact, whether it's for their family, whether it's for their business, or just for themselves to be able to share it.
A lot of the, listen, a few things here. A lot of the content that we make doesn't always get shown to anybody, actually. These are private sentiments that they keep for their families. It's very, very interesting that this happens. We have been very fortunate to work with some fascinating humans. Like, we got to capture the Dalai Lama. We've worked with Chip Wilson, Indra Nooyi, the chairwoman of Pepsi. Fabulous, interesting people. But we also realize that everybody's got a story. Everybody has a beautiful story. And this is what I've noticed. And maybe you tell me if this is right. When someone's trying on the garments or just getting fitted, they have a certain idea. But when they put on that garment, I'm sure their confidence level and their ability to just feel great is just like uplifted. And then imagine if you add communication to that. If they're about to emulate and talk about exactly how they feel, that's what we're giving you the opportunity to do in this, is to actually tell us exactly how you feel and who you want to be around when you're feeling like this. What message do you want to give those people that you feel so good about? What things do you want them to know about you in that moment and time? That is what we are here to do. We're here to really, really showcase the best of you in what you're wearing and in how you're feeling. That's what we're trying to do here.
I think in order to do that, questions need to be asked to do the discovery and to listen so that client
it's been our practice.
And in order to create something, it requires time.
Absolutely.
And then to extrapolate that, it's about connection and trust.
Yes.
And a lot of the times they haven't gone through this kind of bespoke process, whether it's through, a legacy conversation or going through a custom garment.
That's right.
A lot of times things have only been more cookie cutter or generic, whether it's in interviews or articles versus as well as clothing.
That's right.
So when people go through it, it's like, no, it's like we want to actually get to know you. And when you start building that trust, you actually see their colors, their personality fully come out. And when we go through that process of design to then when we do the fitting, they know it was made for them, but they also were connected to it because they felt that level of trust and confidence in the work that we're doing.
Yes.
And they know we're also we're very fortunate.
Yeah.
And as well as it's reciprocated because the fact that they're, entertaining the opportunity. Yeah. It's a two-way kind of reciprocal relationship, which is a beautiful experience all around.
Imagine sitting in a meeting with Jason and I talking about an interview, a legacy interview, or a generational interview, or content, while you're also getting bespoked with the best garment that you're going to wear for that content. And I'll go a step further. We have documented generations together. So imagine a father and son sit together and talk about their life. And imagine that they're getting their suits made or they're getting their garment made for that moment. there's nothing that will ever replace that. There's nothing that will ever replace that moment, that opportunity to feel good. And sometimes, you only get one chance to actually do those types of moments. And so that's what we're offering. We're offering something that is bespoke, something very special to Jason and myself. So imagine our superpowers coming together, styled by Sarai and Human Biography, giving you an experience that will be once in a lifetime. Or if you want to do it again and again and again, we're here to do that with you. And I think the idea is that this can last forever. This memory, this idea of who you were at your best can be really showcased in a beautiful setting. And we're excited to do this.
Yeah, I love the idea of generations or siblings and doing it, whether you're in your 20s, 30s, 40s, but then to capture that moment in time and then to be able to reflect back when you do it at a later point.
Absolutely.
But these memories, too often we look at moments where things happen and then in hindsight, you're like, oh, I wish I did X, Y, Z.
Well, just to that comment, what we say is life is short, but your story is not. And so you got to make sure you take the time to do that. I have had people contact me after a loved one had passed away. And they're like, Sharad, we talked about this a year ago. I wanted to do this project with you, and it didn't happen. And I'm not saying that there's an urgency to anything. You always have to take your time to understand this. But the idea is this: consider it. Consider this as an opportunity. Jason and I think we're going to have some great opportunities for people to gather and see some of our work together. And also, I'm going to be interviewing your father. I think, as a part of this process, I thought I wanted to give Jason my bespoke experience as he's given me his. And so I thought, we're going to sit down with your father and have an interview with him about his legacy. And that is also a reflection on not just him, but how you're going to feel about this opportunity to see him. Because it's one thing for you to sit and talk to your parents. But when you have somebody else asking questions that are really thought-provoking, sometimes the answers that you're going to get are real and raw. And that is what I'm excited about. And, it's been a privilege for me to do this work. I've been doing this steadily for over 20 years, asking people questions on camera. But the idea was that why were they sitting there with me? Why did I get such interesting, fascinating people on my camera? And it was that trust. I really care about people's outcomes. I care about what they're about to say. And I sit and listen. I had to learn how to listen, because obviously you can see that I talk a lot, but the listening was the biggest grace and it was the biggest privilege. And I'm really excited to do that with people. Yeah.
I'm so excited for the opportunity for my dad.
Yeah.
To be speaking with you.
How does that feel for you? Yeah.
Oh, it's we haven't even done it, and I'm excited. Yeah. But I can sense the nervousness from my father when I asked him to. And he was like, oh, I don't know if I could do that. I was like, Dad, actually, you'll feel far more comfortable as you just start speaking with Sharad.
Yeah.
And I was like, this isn't about sharing the video with the masses, whether you do or don't. It's something that we could share with your grandkids.
Absolutely.
And also ask things that you may not have the opportunity to share, because whether we have the opportunity, the right time, right place, but you're in a space that you can feel comfortable. But this is something that we can cherish and have. And to have it documented, that story can last forever. And once I shared it that way, and I was like, you've met Sharad and you'll feel comfortable, but that's what his special skill is, and his power is to be able to connect and be able to extrapolate the story that is yours. And he was like, okay, I'll do it. And so to know that we've had conversations, but it's never been his personality to
it's not
fully open up.
People don't really know about this. Like, to have a camera on somebody is not a regular everyday thing. And what we're here to do is remember the cameras are just there as an accessory. The real conversation is happening here. And I'll say this as well. It's hard to ask your parents or people you love certain questions. You just don't do it. But I've been put in a position, and it is a place of privilege to actually be able to sit with somebody and them to share their fears, their greatest joys, and maybe a story or two that they've never told because they didn't even have the prompt. Nobody asked them. Yes. And imagine that is your opportunity here, is to look good, feel good, and to leave a lasting memory. And again, lot of the content that we can create has nothing to do with just the end of your life or the memories that you have. This could be a moment in time that you're celebrating. You know, this could be something that you want everyone to know about, or you just want to share with a group of people that you love. Because really, that's what I'm in the business of, is love, right? You know, it's hard to. Somebody once told me that, oh, you can't talk about love and emotions in business, and that's all I've been doing in my business and in my life, is adding emotion and love. And it's turned out okay. It's turned out pretty good.
Beautiful.
It turned out beautiful. And so if you're given the opportunity to do something creative with us, it's just going to give back to you and your families, and maybe even yourself. Look at yourself in a different way. Maybe understand yourself in a different way. And I'm going to go really deep now. Somebody once told me what we are doing here in our work is allowing people to heal through their words, right? And what I've been told and what I've understood, because I've shot all these interviews throughout my life, is that we are here learning how to heal ourselves. That's what we're doing here on this planet. You know, at the end of our life, if we're able to take care of ourselves and the people we love, that is the answer to what we are doing here. Everything else is a bonus. The fun things we do, the creative things that we do, to really love our work, our mastery, is we are here to heal ourselves and to enjoy what we're doing. And so I think this is a healing process for all of us as well, to look and feel good and to be able to express ourselves. And that's what I'm excited about. Yeah.
I'm super excited to be a part of this. And I'm a big believer of, like, until you go through something personally, then it's easier to share it with your network, whether it's your clients or community. And a client and dear friend that I work out with recently just said, he's like, you know, your clients wear your suits, but you're wearing their stories.
Absolutely.
And knowing that our clients are just like wonderful people doing amazing things, or celebrating joyous occasions, it's a true blessing.
Yes.
And now it's like, how do we give them the opportunity to document and share that for themselves and for their loved ones?
Absolutely.
So can't wait to start.
So the idea is this. Imagine we came to your city. So we live in Vancouver. We've got a great place here. We're going to invite people in here, and we're going to have conversations around what this looks like or what they would want. And imagine if you're sitting here listening to this in Vancouver, Toronto, Calgary, New York, LA, San Francisco, Texas. Let us know if you want us to arrive and present this opportunity to you, because style and legacy is something that is here for a lifetime. And I think this is just the beginning of something beautiful. So check us out for some dates and times that we'll host something here. But also think about, what is your story? If you were to get a suit made, and some of you have already gotten suits made by Jason, there might be something that you want to wear and be interviewed by me, and you want to get something else created by Jason that is specific for that moment in time. What would that look like? And what story would you tell me?